Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Brief, the show where me and Q&A catch up every 2 weeks to talk about Bitcoin, privacy, open source, keeping your Bitcoin secure, and the news and software updates that matter. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting Ungovernable Misfits, and a big thank you to Foundation Devices for supporting the show. If you haven't already checked them out, go to foundation.xyz. They make cypherpunk tools for fuckwits, and anyone can use this, even me. If you have any questions or you want to reach out, feel free and I'll be happy to go through things with you. For anything super technical, I'll pass you on to Q. If you want to buy one of these incredible passports, use the code Ungovernable. It will get you a discount and it will let them know that I'm shilling. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to the Cake Wallet team. Not only are they supporting this show, but they're also bringing out some incredible features. For those of you who actually use Bitcoin and actually care about their privacy and security, Cake Wallet make it incredibly simple for you to live outside of the traditional financial system. You can use Cake Pay within the app to buy gift cards for food, petrol, and whatever else you might need day to day. You can use silent payments, and of course, you can use Monero. You can connect both Bitcoin and Monero nodes, use coin control, and this team are constantly innovating, and I'm really excited to be working with them. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but check them out at cakewallet.com. Download the APK or start using this today on Mac, Windows, Linux, iPhone, or of course your Android device. Enjoy the show. Good morning.
Howdy, howdy. How are you, sir?
I'm actually really well. How are you?
Yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever. It feels like it's been longer than usual since we've recorded. I guess that's probably because it has been longer than which makes sense.
Yeah.
We didn't leave the listeners high and dry, did we? We have stuck to the normal schedule, but our recording schedule has not been its usual every other week. So just feel like a lot longer than usual.
Yeah, we had one cat. The last one was at Ben's, was it?
It was the 5 guys in a woodshed, yeah.
Yeah, absolute carnage. You two wanking over Nostr and
Plenty more where that came from.
Fedi Mints.
Yeah, that was good. It was good to meet up with the boys and see what they've been up to.
So what we got on this week?
Busy week for Foundation. I can now release the worst kept secret known to man because by the time that this goes out on Wednesday or Thursday, it will be officially live and on the website. Passport dark mode or stealth colorway is now active and live on the website for you to go and order.
Mm-hmm.
Same passport, well, quote unquote, batch 2. We are changing the name to be Passport Core just to keep things simple. So the passport that you know and love, that you see us and hear us talk about on all of these podcasts, is now called Passport Core. And you can now buy it in stealth mode, where it's fully blacked out with some beautiful gunmetal grey buttons and kind of markings. And obviously you'll be able to see all of that on the website by the time that this goes live. Super happy about that one. And at the exact same time, we've actually sold out of the classic colorway, the white and the copper.
Okay.
No timescales on when that's back in stock at the moment. So any passport orders placed on the website as of being live, the only one available is the stealth mode.
Oh, nice.
That'll be clearly stated on the website, but just want to publicly state it here as well.
I think you should have called it Bat Mode or something, though, like Dark Knight Edition.
Dark Knight Edition, yeah. Yeah, we went for the more, I guess, expected classic colorway and stealth colorway. Just speaks to the normies a bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look good though. Because I was thinking when you were saying, oh yeah, all blacked out, I was like, this could be done really nicely or really shit. Like it could just be all matte black and it'd be really boring.
Yeah.
But actually what you guys have done is really nice. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go and have a look. It's going to be on my desk very soon. I'm going to order a couple.
The buttons are a beautiful gunmetal grey, just provides just enough contrast. Like you said, it could have been done where it just looked a bit boring, but
Yeah.
there's just nice, very subtle accents, just but in keeping with the stealth mode. So, and also to be
Nice.
clear, we are still manufacturing these at the moment, so there is going to be like a 6-week lead time. So it's not a case of you place your order as soon as you hear this because you're excited and it comes in 3 days. We're looking at a 5 to 6 week manufacturing time, which probably puts them somewhat in line with when we start to ship Passport Prime as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
We sent an update out to all of the Passport Prime customers at the back end of last week just to say that, as with all manufacturing, we've experienced a little bit of a delay, which has pushed back the expected ship time for early access customers back to the end of April. So nothing too catastrophic, just a couple of weeks. All in, doing everything we can to get those out the door ASAP, and appreciate everybody's patience.
Very nice.
Speaking of foundation stuff as well, did you see what Black Coffee's been up to with making a new rugged box case for the Passport Core?
Yeah, I did see that actually. I didn't know that was coffee though. I just saw it with like, the foam in there and ruggedized, like camera case kind of thing, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Just like a little a flip open rugged box. Looks, I presume, knowing coffee, it's probably going to be 3D printed. It looks like great quality with like, well, you can. I'm looking at the website now. You can actually get two. You can get one with a 3D printed liner, which I presume is kind of, I guess, a bit softer maybe, but perhaps not if it's 3D printed. And then there's also an option for a Welsh oak wood liner.
Oh, I wonder where that's made.
Yeah, exactly. And the case color, you can get black or orange.
Okay.
It looks like it's got a nice little rubber seal around the edge of the lid. So I don't see anywhere where he's claiming this to be waterproof, but I'm guessing that that's in there maybe to give at least some water resistance. I'll have to get some more info on that.
I would guess so. I don't think he'll claim it, even if it is, but...
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, that one, isn't it, to start claiming stuff.
Yeah.
Boating accident proof.
Exactly.
But it looks great, and I didn't know he was doing this. He just sent me a photo. I was like, holy shit. We posted it on the Foundation Twitter account, and everybody was like, where can I buy one? So I said to Coffee, I said, look, you need to get these up on the store ASAP.
Yeah.
As always, didn't take him long.
Very nice. And you guys turned 5, is that right?
Yes, Foundation turned 5 this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty big milestone for the company. I've been there myself now for over 3 years. Getting on for 4, I think. Yeah, closer to 4 than it is to 3. And it's just been a pleasure to see the company go from strength to strength, the team grow, product suite ever growing. And yeah, it's just a wonderful place to work. So nice to see that we had our 5th birthday and maybe some mini celebrations when we all meet up in Vegas in a few weeks.
It's gone so quick. I think I've been probably speaking to Zach /sponsored for 5 years. It's got to be close to that, because it was like the very, very, very... I think I was probably the first sponsorship you guys did, and I think I'd got Zach on... I think it was 2020. I'd have to go back and look, but I remember him sending me one out and me being like, yeah, I like this. This is good. I can see where this is going. It's gone like so slowly, but so fast at the same time. It's like the same thing people say about kids.
Oh, yeah.
Every day feels long, but the years roll quick. And it's kind of been the same in this weird Bitcoin world.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. And here's to another 5 or hopefully 50 years as well.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Exactly.
In other news, I've been busy in my free time as well, mate. Evenings and weekends, putting together a new website. I don't know whether you've seen it. I know you've been offline for a little bit.
I have not seen it. What's this?
The listeners, especially John, I'm sure many others will be thrilled to know that I've put together a Nostr educational website designed for onboarding people.
Here we go. Nostr Hub. All of you wanking off over fucking Nostring.
The domain is hellonoster.xyz.
Okay.
Very proud of it, actually. It's probably the best looking one I've ever put together. And the link will be in the show notes, of course. Bit of a funny story with the domain. I got rug pulled with the domain.
What?
hellonoster.xyz was not the original one.
Right.
The original one, which I was very surprised that I was able to, well, in hindsight, I wasn't able to purchase it, but I kind of was.
Thought you were.
Nostr.guide. But it was there, and I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously knew that I wanted to build this type of website anyway. I bought it. They took the funds from my account and everything. It was great. I was like, okay, great. So this was before I'd started building the website.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went away and started building all the website locally with all of the name, Nostr.guide, all the images and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Went to go and publish like a first draft to share with a few people, see what they thought about it. Went to link up the domain, and the domain Nostr.guide just wasn't in my list on Namecheap. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Check my account balance, and my account balance was back up to the as if they'd never taken the money. So I was like, did I imagine this or something? I was like, I'm convinced I went through the payment process and everything. I checked my emails and stuff, and it was all in there saying, yep, congrats, that you now own this domain and everything. And then I just went back and it just wasn't there. I went on as if I was going to buy that exact same domain again, and it said it was sold in 2022.
That's so disgusting.
I have no idea what went wrong. I don't know how I've got down the purchase process, and I have confirmation emails and everything. Weird one. I was going to dispute it, but I thought, I don't use my own name on Namecheap, and I don't think that that's abiding by their terms and conditions. So I didn't really want to draw attention to my account, creating a dispute or anything. I was like, let's just chalk it up to a loss and find something else. And that something else was hellonoster.xyz. So,
well, hellonoster.xyz looks really nice. I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the aesthetic here. I was thinking it was going to be your normal like blog post thing, which is great for people who can read, but for me it was a bit bloggy. And this has got some pretty pictures. It's all nice and purples and pinks, and it's really smart. I like it.
Yeah, I wanted to make it a bit more visual than before.
Mm-hmm.
I won't dwell on it too much because I know this is predominantly a Bitcoin show. If you are interested, go and check it out.
Yeah, very nice. Talking of being rug pulled on Bitcoiny stuff, I had one of the worst rug pulls you can ever imagine.
Uh-oh.
You know, there's quite a special newspaper that went out on January 3rd, 2009.
Oh, no. Yes, I do know what you mean.
I searched early days of Bitcoin, high and low, because I was like, I want that. I remember people being like, oh, yeah, it's like £1 million, you can't buy it. I can't remember, maybe Trace Mayer had one or something like that. I was like, I fucking want one of these. So I spent weeks and weeks and weeks just scouring through the internet, scouring through everyone who hoarded newspapers and seeing if I could find one from them and buy it from them in cash, sending out emails, like proper nerdy fucking shit. I really went for it. And then I found a company on 50th page of Google who was like a historic newspaper thing. You know, you can like buy it for someone's birthday. You can buy their birthday's one and it's like stored. And I ordered it. I tried it with millions of these places and I finally ordered it and I was like, okay, this is good. And then they sent me a confirmation thing. Yeah. And then they sent me a postage thing saying it's going to be sent out. And then they sent me, oh, sorry, there's been a system error. We don't have that date. We have the date before and the day after if you want either of those. And I was like, you cunts. I'm almost certain that someone has just...
They've realized the importance of it, yeah.
Yeah, like, because it was all ordered and stuff and like just about to be sent out. And I was like, I fucking made it in life here. This is amazing. And then, yeah, rug pulled at the last minute.
Out of interest, what were they charging for one of those papers?
It was like 25 quid.
Oh,
I know. I was like, I fucking...
bet you thought all your Christmases had come at once.
Well, yeah, my plan was buy it, sell it, and then pile whatever I'd sold into corn, or it would be bought with corn anyway, like from whoever's going to have that sort of money. And it was like silly numbers that people were paying for them. So I'd be a very rich man right now, but there we are. Someone else is.
Nightmare. Oh, yeah. Sorry for your loss. What about you, mate? Any other business? You've been up to much? Anything exciting?
I've been up to loads, but nothing I can talk about, unfortunately. But all good stuff. I might do a little update maybe next time we speak, possibly. So I can't talk about that, but I do want to just quickly, this is not a sponsored shill, but I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that the Bitcoin Beach Retreat will be happening again in Wales very soon. I think that anyone who hasn't already been there, anyone who's in the UK should strongly suggest it. I know Dragon puts a huge amount of effort into putting these things on. I was thinking about it last night and I was like, actually, most of the people that I am closest to, I kind of met there on the first one. It was the first introduction to like real people in the Bitcoin space that I had. Some of those have turned into really good friendships. And I don't go to these things anymore, just like OPSEC reasons, but I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to it, that it's a fucking amazing, non-bullshitty, non-Bitcoin magazine event put on by a really great guy. It's relaxed. It's a lot of fun. So anyone who hasn't already been, we'll put a link in the show notes, and I would strongly suggest you go to that rather than going to some shillfest conference.
Yeah, definitely. We've donated a Passport Prime as one of the prizes for the quiz that they're doing as well, so you might be able to win one there.
Very nice.
I need to have a word with Dragon actually about that, because he always organises this on a weekend where I'm otherwise engaged.
Yeah, he does work very hard to make sure you're not there, because you're generally available.
Yeah, please check with me for next year's event.
Well, they always have some nice prizes. I won the quiz a couple of years ago when I went to it. What did I get? I got a Chief Monkey piece of art, which I've got on my wall here. It's really nice. I got some 3D printed bits and pieces and holders and a beer holder and loads of stuff from coffee. Got a load of stickers. What else did I get? I think I got a t-shirt. Oh, I got a shitty little calculator thing. I haven't worked out what to do with it, but I've got one still in the drawer, sealed, if anyone wants one of those. There's always some good prizes.
Yeah, gutted I can't make it. I think I saw that they just sold out this weekend of the early, like, lower price tickets, so sounds like they're selling out pretty quickly.
Well worth going. Go and check it out. We'll put the links. Go and support it. Go down there, because otherwise these proper events will die out. You'll just be left with like watching Sailor on a stage, right? That sort of bullshit. Like go and meet some real people. Outside of that, I haven't really got anything that I can think of. So we'll jump into the news, I guess.
Before we do go into the news, since we last recorded, No Bullshit Bitcoin looks like they've been on holiday.
Yeah.
Well deserved, which is fine. But that does mean two things. Number one, I actually had to do a little bit of work.
Some work.
Yeah. To get the list together, although Expatriotic and Jordan did provide some massive help as well. But obviously the links in the show notes to this episode will not be their usual beautifully formatted or looking the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're all kind of higgledy-piggledy and from all over the internet. So bear with us. But as of about 30 minutes ago, it looks like No Bullshit Bitcoin are back at HQ and posting again. So normal service will hopefully be resumed for the next show.
Oh, interesting.
If you are listening to this, No Bullshit Bitcoin is a big driver for this show. So feel free to show your support to them as well. They do it all for free.
Yeah, massive help. Huge. When I got that message saying they'd gone offline, I was like, oh, fuck, that's actually a real loss. Like, if they'd gone, that would be a proper loss.
Agreed, yeah. Right, let's hit the news. Okay, first off, we have had another Bitaxe block, Max.
Nice.
Little funny story with this one. I won't go too deep into it because obviously this is not the mining show. I'll leave that to you and John. The address that my Bitaxe is mined to, I've kind of like memorized the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits of the address. Yeah. And when I saw this on Twitter, I thought that the address in the Coinbase of the mined block was my address. It was similar.
Yet another rug pull for Q.
So I sprinted up to my office to look at the screens of my Bitaxe to see if it had that fateful message of block found, and sadly it did not.
Oh, how nice would that have been? Someone's experiencing it.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember how much hash rate the total had. I think it worked out that whoever it was running something like 6 Bitaxes. So not loads, and clearly not a lot of hash rate either. But yeah, hats off. Enjoy your earnings.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
Indeed. Next article. FinCEN, our friends over at FinCEN, have issued a Southwest Border Geographic Targeting Order. Basically, FinCEN have lowered the threshold for financial reporting for money service businesses from $10,000 down to $200.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so they haven't just chipped a little bit off. They've dropped it down from $10K to $200. Now,
What the fuck?
the geographical part of this, I've never heard of this before, but it's a GTO, a geographic targeting order. So the threshold lowering affects 30 zip codes across California and Texas near the southwest border. So my guess is that they're targeting kind of drug cartels or people affiliated with drug cartels, would naturally find themselves residing in those types of zip codes.
Themselves, then. They're targeting themselves.
Yes, yeah, indeed. And of course, this is only temporary, Max, as with all government changes.
Yeah.
It's just going to be temporary. And
it will stay in that location as well. It won't spread.
that's right. Normal service will be resumed as soon as they catch all of the criminals because, they're really winning the drug war right now.
I think so. It's looking good. My bet's on them. It's amazing.
If you are a money service business in Imperial County, California, San Diego, El Paso, Maverick County, Webb County, etc., my condolences. You've just been shafted by the government yet again.
Oh, you imagine just trying to do not even a weekly shop, $200. I spent 250 quid yesterday going to Tesco to buy a fridge full of food, which is what, $350 or something like that.
Well, it's even worse in California. In California, $200 is like a box of eggs.
Not even chicken eggs, it's like quail's eggs. You get 6 quail's eggs.
Yeah, insect eggs.
Yeah. What a fucking state.
Right, next on the list is more US regulations.
Excellent.
Well, linked to US regulations. A man has been held in contempt of federal court for refusing to surrender 119.65 BTC that was subject to a seizure order. And he now has to pay $10,000 for each day that he doesn't comply. I'm not sure why this guy was in court in the first place, but basically the feds have got access to his laptop, noticed that he had Ledger software on it, and they were able to open up the Ledger software, see what he had. Instead of transferring the BTC to the government, the court found that the gentleman, whose surname is Reynoso, has transferred his BTC to other wallets. What a Chad.
Good lad. What a good lad. I love to see it.
Unfortunately, obviously, that is fairly trivial to track on chain, especially if they've got your starting point. The court rejected Reynoso's argument that the seizure order violated the Fifth Amendment. Yeah, so this guy's fucked, basically.
He's fucked, yeah.
And the reason that I included this one is just a quick PSA, just to remind people that your bullshit boating accident is just not going to wash with the feds. So maybe come up with another strategy.
How long have we said that for? Every single show, pretty much. Don't start thinking you're hard, or it's this amendment, or it's that amendment, and you can't because of my constitutional rights, or you can't because I'm really hard, or no. Don't think that you're going to play with them. They've got all the guns, all the power. They write all the laws. Suddenly, though, my over-the-top extreme levels of having a separate laptop that's encrypted, that has nothing else on it but Sparrow, that's not with any of my normal stuff, suddenly that doesn't sound so stupid, does it?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that was going to be one of the outcomes or pieces of advice I was going to give people was that, well, number one, don't use Ledger software.
Yeah, definitely not.
And number two, like if this guy had his Ledger connected to Sparrow and that Sparrow file had a password on it, which is good practice, then the feds ain't getting in.
No.
Now, obviously, that's not a silver bullet because there are some jurisdictions where the feds can just compel you to give you the password. I don't know whether that's true of this case. So even though you had a password on there, if they tell you, if you're in a certain jurisdiction and they say, give you a password, like I know Australia does this, it wouldn't fix that. But you know what does fix it? Buying Bitcoin. Max, have you just fell off your chair?
No. Autoglass just turned up at the door, and for some reason my missus can't hear anything. And I had to then go out to say, Autoglass are at the door. They're knocking at the door, even though she was much closer to the door than I am. Because I have a cracked windscreen. So sorry about that. I was listening, by the way.
No problem. I was just checking that you're okay. It sounded like you'd had a little fall.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, agree. Yeah, buy no KYC, obviously, have everything encrypted. You could even go one step further. It depends how far you want to go with it, but especially if you have that sort of amount of Bitcoin and maybe it's linked to something that's maybe shouldn't have been done possibly in the eyes of the law, it could be an idea to not keep a backup of Sparrow or anything like that. You could just have your 12 words and still, how often do you have to use 119 Bitcoin? I don't know. You might not need to have all your labels and all your bits and pieces. It might be better actually just to have everything offline and like literally untouchable, not even with a password.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of why he's being compelled to do this, it looks like parts of the case are still sealed, so it's not public as to why he's been compelled to disclose all of this sort of stuff. And the last kind of little part of this that did make me chuckle a little bit was there's a screenshot of some of the court filings, and there's an image in there where the feds who've been investigating this have taken a boomer screenshot of what looks to be some block explorer showing his address with the balance of 125 Bitcoin in it. But instead of doing an actual screenshot, they've done a boomer screenshot where they've taken a photo of the computer screen with their phone, and you can just see a blurry reflection of these two feds with shit-eating grins in the background.
Oh,
I just thought it was a little bit funny.
Absolute fucking cunts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, have everything encrypted. Don't think that a boating accident is going to cut it, because it's not.
Absolutely. Right, next on the list. I actually didn't know about this one until Jordan and Expatriotic dropped it into the chat, but there was some drama around some European Bitcoiners thinking that the EU Commission was going to go and essentially steal 10 trillion euros of citizen savings to fund EU defence.
Right.
Which clearly wouldn't be great. However, what is actually happening is that they're going to be coming up with enticing investment strategies to get people to take their funds out of savings and invest it into presumably companies that are going to fund the EU war effort, presumably again against Russia, because that seems to be stepping up a bit lately.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, they're not sort of stealing from you yet. They're enticing you to take what you have out of savings and invest it so that they can siphon off those funds to fire at Russia, presumably.
Yeah, I wonder how are they going to say, look, we think you should invest in, like, how dirty are they going to get? Are they going to say things like, we think you should invest in this company that we kind of technically own, which is manufacturing arms, because guess what? We're going to need a lot because we're going to go to war and put a load of people through a meat grinder. Like, are they going to do it that overtly, or are they going to make their own shit coin? Like, you never know, like, how stupid this stuff's going to get. Like, are they going to make a shit coin, like war coin or something like that? Like pump war coin,
missile coin,
World War III coin. Amazing.
So remains to be seen the specifics. It just sounds as though they're trying to do it without blatantly just printing more and more and more. It does feel like people are starting to get a bit wary of that. People are starting to feel the effects of that all over the world. So
yeah,
it sounds like they're trying to be a bit more covert about it.
Yeah, interesting. I'd rather they just print personally, but...
The Pirate Bay's, in terms of his involvement, it's unclear to me at the moment because I've seen conflicting news reports and stuff. So don't at me in the comments. I'm just going off the news article. But the Pirate Bay's founder, or I've also read financier, or I've also read person who was involved with.
Right.
So somebody who's involved in the Pirate Bay in some way, shape or form. Some people think he's a financial supporter. Some people think he's the founder.
Right.
Has unfortunately died in a plane crash in the Slovenian mountains. Businessman Carl Lundstrom allegedly supplied the site with servers, bandwidth and financial support. At the time of the accident, Lundstrom was travelling from Croatia to Switzerland when his Mooney M20 aircraft crashed. He was, I believe, on his own, and I don't think there's any reports of foul play here. Clearly, he was a public figure, so if they wanted to take him out, I'm sure they'd probably have thought of something cheaper and easier than a plane crash, but you never know.
I don't know. Plane crash is pretty easy, I reckon. Not a lot of evidence is left. I'm just looking at a Mooney M20. It's a beautiful plane, but it's the size of a bee's dick. So these are the type of ones that literally... I went to school with two separate people who their parents had died in these type of aircraft.
Really?
They lived in Africa. Yeah, it's fucking dangerous, these little mini planes. I guess it's like the perfect cover, but also it just happens anyway, so who knows. Beautiful plane, though. That's really nice. I like that.
Well, it was.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. It was. Same with helicopters. It's proper rich people shit, that, though, isn't it? It's like if you've got a helicopter or like your own personal plane, you're proper rich, but you're also a lot more likely to die than just us plebs. So
Yeah, indeed. Final kind of article. It's not really a news article, but I wanted to include it. The NIM BC 1984 Adam, who's been fairly vocal about the samurai situation since it started to unfold, has published an article, which again will be linked in the show notes. It's almost like a hypothetical article as to an analysis on how the defense team could proceed to defeat the charges leveled against the samurai devs. So he's been quite open and honest here that he's used some AI to kind of support this. So it's kind of more of a thought process article than a news article, but it is a very interesting read and will give you a better understanding of kind of the insanity of the situation and kind of like how things could proceed based on just one person's thought process. But again, it'll be linked in the show notes, so worth a read if you've got a spare 10 minutes. Quite an interesting one.
nice.
Right, mate, we have 2 weeks worth of boosts because of our
Bloody hell.
mismatched recording schedule. So shall we jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so these first lot of boosts are from the Two Guys in the Woodshed, the most recent show. And the first one's from John, 21,420 sats.
Big baller.
Nostr Hopium is becoming just as bad as Bitcoin Hopium. Developing Nostr reputations over fostering real-world relationships makes relationship building unnecessarily complicated. A Rube Goldberg relationship machine.
Drink.
I get the impetus for this one, and I absolutely agree that there is way too much Nostr Hopium, just as there is in Bitcoin Hopium. I agree with that. However, I don't think there needs to be a binary choice of developing an online reputation over one in the real world. Like, you can do both, and they should work hand in hand. I think we are kind of prime examples of that. So I think, I don't know, I just wanted to push back a little bit to John, as much as I love him, to say, you don't need to do one or the other. You can do both, and you should do both.
I actually agree with you, even though I don't like Nostr.
The Rube Goldberg nature of Nostr is its charm, I think. It can be a Rube Goldberg thing, and you can have 25 different clients all over the place if you want to. But if you just want a Twitter replacement and you can just download Amethyst and just speak to your Nostr social network there, like, the whole point of it is that you can interact with it in whichever way you want. It doesn't need to be a Rube Goldberg machine if you don't want it to. It can just be one thing to serve one purpose.
Knowing John, I think what he means by that is when Ben was sort of banging on about, you can do this and then you can split the payments down and this person's got that reputation, so that opens a door and, all that kind of...
Yeah.
He's talking about the further out stuff that we were talking about with Lightning in whatever, like 7 years ago or something. Are you going to have micropayments, and those micropayments are going to split, and you're going to have subsats and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's all like what is technically possible at the outer edge of things, and it can be done, but it kind of isn't done because we haven't yet caught up with the UX to make it a usable or like enjoyable to use experience yet.
100%.
We're quite a long way out of it.
Yeah.
So I think like John's looking at that and going, yeah, you could do all that shit, or you could just go and shake someone's hand and have a conversation with them, and that's going to be a much richer experience. And he's right. There's like a bit of both, isn't there? Like, you do have the reputation. We've built it mainly over Twitter and the show and stuff like that. But the majority of people don't know me from Adam, and people will message me some quite personal things and put trust in me. And I'm sure the same with you, just because they're like, oh, they've been around. It sounds like they haven't fucked anyone over, and like, so they should be good. And that's where Nostr is even better than Twitter, because you kind of own the data and all the things that we talked about in that. So he is right, and I think Nostr is overhyped and a bit gay, and I like to shit on it a bit just to bring some reality back into the room. But you are also right. So well done. You're both right.
Late stage hodl with 15,000 sats. My favorite part of this episode was when they were watching a video and we couldn't see.
Oh, God.
Someone said, "Oh, look, they drew a dick on it." And then very soon after, Max said, "Oh, I like this." The end saying, "We were pervs looking through the keyhole." And then Jordan, as always, to save the day with the video in the chapter title.
The one that made me laugh was, someone's just drawn tits on Batman. I like it. 8-Myth Randir with 7,777 sats. I don't know what Mongs means, but it sounds about right for this crew.
If you want to know what that means, if you go onto Twitter and search for Craig Wright, you'll get a great example.
Yeah, what is a Mong? It comes from like Mongoloid, doesn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah. It's somebody that's not very bright.
It's like a derogatory way of saying like
retard,
mentally impaired, mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig Wright. Yeah, very good description.
Huxley, 6,921 sats. Cheers, Mongoloids.
There we are.
I like the idea of a Nostr business structure. Yeah, me too. Early days, don't hold your breath. It's probably at least 10 years out.
It will come. In time, it will come. Shadowy Super Badger. I agree with Ben. It feels like Samurai have been weirdly memory holed. What the actual fuck? But, like he says, the recent changes can only be good for them. We still need more limelight though. Hashtag Free Samurai. Yeah, agreed, mate. Oh, on the Free Samurai stuff.
Oh, yes. I saw this. Was it 1.7 million?
I think it was like 1.2 or 1.3 million sats have been donated to Free Samurai in the last week. And that was thanks to all the ungovernable misfits making sure that Dam had to pay double, wasn't it?
Yeah, Damn Cool publicly stated that. And did he match the largest one or did he match them all combined or something?
He matched all of it. He said, basically, he likes what we were doing with the donations and all the sats and XMR boosts and all that kind of stuff, XMR chats. And so he said, right, whatever is donated this week, I'm going to match it. Make me bleed.
What a fucking legend.
I know. I love that guy. And so everyone from the Ungovernable Misfits has boosted like whatever it was, 650,000 sats, there or thereabouts. We posted it on Twitter. And then he matched that as well. So yeah, it was like 1.2 something million sats in a week.
Oh, well done, guys. And thank you, Dan. Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, what a legend. More to come. More hashtag Free Samurai stuff from Ungovernable Misfits that we can talk about probably next episode, and then there's going to be more again the episode after that. We've got lots of things. We're doing what we can.
Anonymous with 6,666 sats. Great episode.
Oh, thank you, mate. FOMO Chronic with 5,000 sats, no message.
Otis Bitmeyer, 2,500 sats. Use the coin as a tool to build the world you want. Thanks for the signal, friends. Co-sign that.
Thank you, mate. Otis Bitmeyer is the man behind Otis Bitmeyer's coffee, which is the coffee that John always bangs on about.
I didn't put two and two together. Does he ship to the worldwide?
I'll find out. I think they probably do. We were supposed to get all of his coffee and a load of other things on the Ungovernable Misfits site and help with, these more local, like smaller producers, a bit like Barn Miner does with his jerky, is one of those long things on the list that we haven't got round to. But one day, if it's not already, you'll be able to order to the UK. And apparently it's really good. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Nice. I look forward to ordering some.
Bubba with 2,000 sats. Holy fuck. Too many accents to keep track of. Too many English accents to keep track of. Fuck the flashing art seizure. Everything sounds so damn polite. Am I now anonymous on the old fountain because Nostr sucks ass? Yes, you will be. If you don't connect your Nostr, you won't be on there, mate. So sorry about that.
If you keep boosting with bearish notes about Nostr, then we're going to know it's you, Bubba.
Yeah, we'll know it's you. Fuck the flashing art seizure. A few people have mentioned that. Do you know the one I mean? When you go on and you play the thing, Ungovernable Misfits, yes, and that will flash, and then it's like screen printing, and it's like all this stuff. I really like it, but...
I like it as well. Speaking of that flashing art and stuff, I
Mm.
forgot to mention that I recently did a couple of quick updates to the Ungovernable landing page on the Foundation website. So we now got a lovely little intro on all of the products now, so you can see intros about Passport, Prime, and Envoy,
Nice.
and Concierge as well. So we've got it all in one. So just a quick little update there. So let me know what you think, guys.
Yeah, very nice. Anyone who's going to order one of these new Batman mode, Dark Knight mode, core passports, you can go and you can use the code Ungovernable, or you can click on the link in the show notes. It helps support us. It lets Foundation know that we are shilling, and it also gets you a discount. So consider it.
It does indeed. Back to the boosts. S4S, 1000 sats. Whoa, I listened to that at 1.5 speed. I need to listen again to process Ben's insights. Great stuff.
Shadrach, 993 sats. Beautiful, with a little heart. Thank you, mate.
Chad F, 333 sats. Love all the talk about payment splits, but unfortunately, they are still shit on Nostr. Yeah, I saw him send a note about this.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure what's so shit about them, because it works fine. Like when you do retweets and stuff, it splits the boost. But I think what he's alluding to, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, is that not all clients support it, so it's kind of a bit fragmented.
Could be. He normally knows his shit with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chad also streamed 2,083 sats from Castomatic when he was listening. So thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, mate. Gene Everett with 133 sats. Dude, you gave my girlfriend a seizure with flashing art. Thanks a lot. He could actually mean thanks a lot. They could have had like an argument or something. He's
That's
like, thanks
true.
a lot. She's fucking winding me up. And now at least she's having a seizure.
He's been waiting to bump her off for ages. That flashing art's not new, though, is it? I wonder why we're getting all hate for it now.
I have no idea. We've had it there for a year, maybe?
At least.
Something like that. So, I don't know.
Into the boost from the previous show, which is just me and you, titled Running Guns and Passports. Shadrach with 21,093 sats with no message. Thank you.
Oh, big baller. Late Stage Hoddle with 15,000 sats. Keep up the good work, fellas.
8 Mithrandir, 7,777 sats. All you need now are some Scots to join the conversation for us Yanks to get even more lost.
No, I think Scots are easier. Ben is a feral creature. So many people have written and been like, I don't know what's being said here. Don't know what is happening.
He talks pretty quickly as well.
He talks fast, yeah. The thing is, though, it's much better to have a conversation with him verbally. I don't even bother via text message anymore because I have no idea. Like, I'll be messaging him and I'm like, I genuinely don't know.
He does speak in riddles.
I do not actually know what is happening now. I know less now than I did half an hour ago. So I'll call him and I'm like, I sort of understand.
I'm glad it's not just me.
He's a very strange man. No, it's not just you. He's an extremely strange man. Anonymous with 6,666 sats. You guys are hilarious. I'm a bit older than either of you, but I can confirm I am not using a typewriter to verify addresses. My previous appreciation of you mentioning the address verification was because I was unaware of it. Keep dribbling out info about features that some of us are unaware are available. Oh, the address verification he means on the passport to make sure. Yeah. Right, okay. Yeah, you see? We aren't just talking drivel. There are people who are listening and going, that's useful. And it might just save them.
And I take it for granted because I literally have that device in my hand every single day. So it's just like a part of my body at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair comment. Maybe we'll like pick one and just shoehorn it into the show somehow. Noted.
Thank you, mate.
Glad we could help as well.
Yeah.
Shadowy Badger, 5,000 sats, and they also stream 2,262 sats. Nice badgering Q&A. I approve. I think I know what it is. Mum's the word. Well, if you've got this far into the show, then you already know what it is because we mentioned it at the top of the show.
Business Cat with 4,356 sats streamed. Pleb to Polymath with 1,043 sats streamed. And FOMO Chronic with 1,001 sats streamed.
Unpronounceable C-Bomb, 1,000 sats. And they streamed 18,400 sats as well.
Oh, what a legend.
Jordan didn't mess up. I think he's doing a great job. I think I just had the streaming switch on. I agree. I think he's doing a great job. I know we poke a lot of fun at him because he's Canadian, but...
Yeah, we do. He is Canadian and he is slightly annoying, but Ungovernable Misfits would not be what it is without him.
He is the glue that holds the show together.
No, he really is. Like, he's taken so much pressure off me. He's always there thinking of different exciting things that we can do and ways to help other people. He is incredible, but he is Canadian. He's a bit of a cunt as well. So,
yeah, swings and roundabouts.
Exactly. We all eat with 1,000 sats. I could see Max snorting addies with some sketchy hooker. Laugh my fucking ass off. See you next Tuesday. I wasn't always so clean cut and polished. I wasn't always this way.
That was a revelation for me to hear, that was.
Oh, mate, I could tell you some stories. That was the fucking tip of the iceberg. Yeah, good times. Good times.
Stack Jarrow, which is a wonderful handle, by the way.
Yeah,
hats off. That is incredible. Nice. Yeah, so simple but so effective. 1,000 sats. If making your own Lightning node, do you use sats from KYC or non-KYC stack for the liquidity portion you deposit, or at that point does it not matter? I think it depends what your use case is for it, really, doesn't it?
If making your own Lightning node, do you use sats from KYC or non-KYC stack for liquidity portion you deposit at the point? We can go into like, well, it doesn't matter and there's use cases for both and could be and couldn't be and shouldn't be and wouldn't be and blah, blah, blah and all that. But I would say that generally it's better to do from a non-KYC stack because then there's no tie going forward, is there? Like, as long as it's done right. Logically, that would make sense. Is like I always used to open with postmix. That was just like best practice. You know, you can come back to us and give us more information if you want, like if this doesn't answer it properly. But my advice would be always use your non-KYC stack for everything that you possibly can, where it could be linked to your identity. And if you do have a KYC stack, use that on an exchange, a KYC'd exchange, to sell it for fiat. And ideally live in a place where you have no capital gains, so you don't get absolutely raped up the arsehole by the tax man. But if you must live in a shithole, which is going to take whatever, 25% of it, just fucking sell it there, declare it, get rid of it as quickly as you can. Ideally when the price is down, and rebuy in non-KYC and just fuck it all off.
Yeah, hard to argue with any of that. Pies, 420 sats. On my drive into work, as I listen, all I hear is blah, blah, blah. We're British and we are gay. Blah, blah, blah. Only two Brits would be arguing over what's more gay, running or swimming. How about shut up and work out, bitch? Hashtag 40 HPW.
40 hours per week podcast, that is, mate.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you hit that quota?
I do more than that because I record. Me and John were saying that it's like for every 2 hours you record is 40 hours of listening. That's the equivalent. That's the exchange rate.
The difference is, so you hit your 40 hours just listening to yourself over and over again.
It's literally torture. But I don't listen. I think in the last 6 months, if I listen to one podcast in a week, I'd be doing really well. Like really well. I just don't get time. What about you? Do you listen to a lot?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I do 40 hours, but I do normally go for 2 dog walks a day. So there's like, I don't know, 20 hours or so. I don't drive far, but if I have a long journey, but yeah, I'd say I probably get halfway there. I
imagine you're one of these disgusting people that can kind of work and listen to a podcast. You can kind of multitask.
Nope.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No.
All right, good.
I always have my lo-fi kind of coffee shop music on in the background while I'm working.
Me too. Do you know what you need to do is you need to invest in getting one that has the rain in the background.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can get like lo-fi coffee shop or lo-fi jazz coffee shop with rain in the background.
What do you mean invest in? Don't you just go onto YouTube and play a video?
Well, you don't invest it. You just need to invest the time in finding
I
the one
see.
that you like.
I see.
You don't need to literally invest in it. Although you might want to get a premium account or something so you don't have all the adverts and stuff. Yeah, it's just so much nicer because it just feels relaxing just hearing that rain in the background. Just trust me, it's worth it.
I live in the UK, mate. There's always rain in the background anyway.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Chad F again with 333 sats and 3,000 sats streamed from Podverse with hashtag 40HPW.
Nice. Some movement. Wartime with 333 sats with a fire and a clap emoji. At Wartime, if you're listening, I have messaged you on Telegram, as has John, and we need just a little bit of your time, please. We'd appreciate if you could get back to us. Thank you.
Cyborgs, 123 sats with no message. And then a final note from our good friend Super Fat Arrow.
Oh, this guy.
Quoting here, yes, the lads are correct. I've never received a grant or bounty for co-inventing border wallets. Thanks to any friends that showed their appreciation by sending sats. You know who you are, and I appreciate you too. Well, that is a travesty.
It is.
Of all the grants that are floating around, border wallet should definitely be one of those supported.
Yeah, definitely. If you're one of these guys that holds the purse strings, open sats, or one of these sort of things, and you're throwing a load of fucking money at some Nostr project, just like think about it for a second. Just go, you know what MTC and Superfat Arrow built was fucking cool and really useful, and there's a lot that could be built on top of it. Maybe we should just throw them a few sats as a thank you. Just consider it.
We've actually got a couple of XMR chats included into the boost here as well, Max.
Oh, okay. Let's go for it. I'll do the first one. G. I think that's how you'd say it. It's just a J and then a billion E's after it with 0.097 XMR. 4 Bitcoin brief. Love the show. Thank you for all the effort you put into it. Question for you smart dudes. If my Bitcoin node broadcasts a new transaction, will Chainalysis nodes record which IP it's coming from? If so, how to protect myself?
The answer is they could. However, they would need to have a lot of nodes active in the network to be able to determine where a transaction originates from. If they don't have like a critical mass in the network to be able to work out how and where messages are coming from and when they're coming from, then they wouldn't be able to pinpoint your node and know that it's you. So there's 2 things you can do here. Number 1, just run a Tor only node so they don't see your IP address. And number 2 is you can actually broadcast your transaction for free from any other external node as well to kind of I guess, thwart this type of attack. I know Blockstream, Mempool have services where you just basically build and sign the transaction and then just copy and paste the signed transaction into their website. You can do it over Tor as well if you wanted to, or use a VPN and basically just broadcast it from their node. So even if Chainalysis were looking at it, you know, if they were specifically targeting the Mempool node, they think that your transaction belonged to whoever's running the Mempool node. And obviously you'd have a completely clean bill of health.
I don't know how I feel about doing that. I think I prefer the idea of using your own node and using it as Tor only. Like if you want to, for like downloading, doing the IBD and all that kind of stuff, you do it with like a router level VPN as well. I think that's good enough. The only time I probably would do broadcast from somewhere else would be, I guess, if I wasn't running my own node. If you're using some other like shitty wallet software or something like that, then it would be a better idea to do that. But I don't know why you need to. It feels a bit like over the top to me.
I get the sentiment, but I don't think it's as detrimental as you think to broadcast from somebody else's node, because let's quickly run it through. Like, let's say I've got a transaction and I, for whatever reason, I definitely don't want it to be tied to my own node. What are the risks of me sending it to the Blockstream node over Tor? Blockstream doesn't see my IP address because I'm connecting to them over Tor. Well, that's essentially it, isn't it? I'm just giving them a signed transaction. They can't modify it because if they do, it would be an invalid transaction. So there's almost no risk, essentially. As long as you're doing it over Tor or you have a VPN, then the risk of Blockstream in this scenario seeing, oh, Max's IP address is associated with this specific transaction is 0.
So you could, in theory then, not run your own node, build a transaction in Sparrow or something, and then broadcast it from theirs. you wouldn't need to actually run one unless you were receiving.
The bit where that falls down is whenever you want to receive any funds, you're trusting somebody else's node to verify.
Exactly. If you're like a long time holder, you weren't actively participating in like most ways. You weren't like running a Bitcoin business or anything like that. And just occasionally you were offloading. It may be that actually you wouldn't need to, especially if you're traveling and one of these digital nomad type people and you're living off it. Maybe if you're just spending, you could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, last one, Bitcoin Derby, Bitcoin Derby. Depends on where in the world you're from. 0.053 XMR. Bitcoin Derby are back in April at our regular time and place. Saturday, the 5th of April at 3 p.m. Ye Old Dolphin, DE13DL. We'll be discussing how to level up your Bitcoin game and digital sovereignty using the best FOSS tools available. #FreeSamurai.
Nice. I like that one. I like that people are actually posting for these meetups. That's cool. And I like that they've added in #FreeSamurai. So well done. Thank you. I would say Bitcoin Derby.
I would as well. Definitely. The Derby is American, isn't it?
I thought it was like some places in the UK would say Derby. It's Derby.
If you're actually from Derby, it would be Bitcoin Derby, wouldn't it?
Derby.
The Americans won't get that one either.
They won't. No, they will not. Updates and releases?
Let's do it. Zeus version 0.10.0 has been released with renewable channels, multiple embedded wallets, and John and Bubba are going to love this one, Nostr Wallet Connect client support.
Ooh.
So with renewable channels, users can renew and extend channel leases from the Zeus LSP. Services and upgrades channel funded with their own on-chain funds to guarantee a lifetime and reduce fees. So it sounds like, here's another one John and Bubba will love. They also receive notifications via push or Nostr DMs when channels are close to expiring, depending on the Zeus Pay Lightning notification settings. So basically this is for those who use Zeus with the LSP, essentially where you're kind of paying for a service where the LSP will open a channel to the lightweight node on your phone. So it's non-custodial, but you don't have most of the Lightning headaches. When you do that, I think you rent the channel for a specific amount of time. And previously, that was a fixed time. And when it ended, the channel was closed and you'd presumably incur fees and then have to start again. Whereas now they've got renewable channels where you can kind of keep updating that to keep the channel open, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
NWC, Nostr Wallet client support as well. So you can actually connect to your own node that might be running on a Start9 or an Umbrel. But rather than using the connection over Tor or locally, you can use Nostr Wallet Connect to use an encrypted communication that leverages Nostr relays to talk to your own personal node as well. Okay, staying on the Lightning side of things, Phoenix have released version 2.5.0 and subsequently 2.5.1. I was a little bit sad about this one, mate, to be honest.
Why?
With version 2.5.0, the embedded Tor library of Phoenix has been ripped out.
What?
So no longer can you just open Phoenix, turn on or have Tor enabled from the outset, and then it just automatically starts up and privatizes your connections when you run the app.
Extremely gay.
They have taken it out now, and now you've got to go back to 2019 and use Orbot.
Oh, mate.
Which is very disappointing. So in the interest of kind of clarity and fairness, here is their rationale. Phoenix previously embedded a Tor library in order to access the Tor network. While it was convenient not to have to install anything else, like Orbot, it also brought significant performance issues, especially for background payments, because the connection had to be established on the fly. With the Tor connection managed as a persistent VPN by a dedicated app, the connection is more stable and background payments work much better.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Orbot is the worst. That's like a way to rationalize it. Maybe it's like they're not allowed to be in certain app stores or something if they have it or something, but that wouldn't make sense because other people are. But regardless, it's extremely gay and Orbot is shit, and having to use it is an absolute headache. So
yeah,
that is sad.
Not only for the performance side of things, but also like on Android, I'm not sure how it works on iOS, but Orbot, when you run it, it takes the VPN slot of your phone. So if you also run Molvad, you've kind of got to switch and you want to use Phoenix.
Yeah.
You've got to switch Molvad off, turn on Orbot, wait for it to load and connect, then open Phoenix. Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
That's disgusting. That's a shame.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I regularly used it over Tor and didn't really see that many issues, particularly with, lost my train of thought.
Well, I never had any problems with it running it, which is amazing considering it was Lightning, because I
Yeah.
seem to have problems with everything else. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What is frustrating is that they didn't leave it in as kind of like something you can turn on in the background and like understand the issues.
Yeah, because that's what you have on Envoy.
Yeah.
You can just choose, because sometimes on Envoy it will say like connection issues, maybe potential Tor
Yeah.
connection issues or something like that. And if someone is happy to wait, like I am, you refresh it and 30 seconds later it's all fine. Or if you don't want to wait, you have the option. That is a better way of doing it.
Yeah, indeed. So, bit of a disappointing one, really. The Phoenix team normally only ship bangers. We'll see. Maybe there's enough of an outcry that they'll add it back in as an option that you can toggle on.
Maybe.
Didn't see this one coming, mate, but Ronin Dojo version 2.2.0 has been released.
Yeah, love to see it.
So now here's the headlines. The backup now includes the indexer data. So yes, you read that right. Whether you're running address indexers, Electrus, or Fulcrum, your indexer data will be backed up on the backup device.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool because it means that you then don't have to go through all of the waiting of re-indexing Fulcrum if you have to go through a backup recovery or restoration step.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. It's been a while since we've heard from them.
It has, yeah. I didn't know it was still being actively maintained, to be honest. So very happy to see this come out over the weekend.
So who was this? This was Pavel, was it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The backup also now includes the dojo configuration. What we got here on salvage. The salvage procedure is known by those who had to reinstall the system for whichever technical reason. The SD card will be reflashed by the user with the OS image. The system would boot with this and perform its first time install procedure. During this procedure, it would check to see if there was data already present on the storage device to reuse that. In the past, it would only reuse the IBD, initial block download. But now with these upgrades to the Ronin Dojo codebase, just like with backups, it also reuses the indexer data and the dojo configuration from the old system. Just makes restoration much faster and much more seamless. Nice.
Nice. Good to hear more from the Ronin Dojo team. Damn cool with his heroic 610,000 stats, and now Dojo Coder releasing this. I like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final update here is that they've kind of made a more seamless upgrade path for those that, I'm sure there's a lot of users that still have a 1 terabyte drive in there, which will very soon be full.
Yeah.
Naturally, those people are going to be wanting to upgrade to a 2 terabyte or larger device. So they've added in a script now to be able to do that in a seamless way. I think we talked about doing something similar with Start9 recently as well, didn't we? So sounds like they've followed suit, which is pretty cool. So
nice.
Glad to see that this is still being maintained.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice work, guys. Ashigaru version 1.1.1 has been released. Looks like a smaller update. You can now rename and reorder your account names in the wallet address calculator tool. And then a couple of bug fixes where the app would crash on startup when launching in offline mode. Reproducibility enhancements based on user feedback.
Very nice.
Nice to see those guys still shipping as well.
All girls?
All girls, indeed, yeah. While we're talking about Ashigaru, did you see what Larry Lasermind put together? Basically, he's gone through the code base to give it kind of a lot more scrutiny than I believe it's ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be linked in the show notes. Obviously, that's pretty dense in terms of code review, but the headline is that he gave it a clean bill of health and said that he liked what he found, gave it a bit of a rubber stamp to say, it looks good to me.
Excellent.
Nunchuk have released version 1.9.64, which has some improved encrypted group wallet functionality. We have briefly touched on the group wallet feature before, but since we last spoke about it, myself and Orange Surf have actually tested it out a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
We put it into practice, basically. So I was running Nunchuk on my Android phone, and I believe he runs iOS and lives in a different country to me. And it took us 10 minutes to set up a Taproot multisig wallet where he held 2 of the keys and I held 1 of the keys.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a very seamless experience. I was very pleasantly surprised, actually. They use encrypted comms, which updates very quickly. Actually, I thought it was going to be fairly janky, but no, very seamless experience. We set up the wallet in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
He sent some funds in, and then we went through the spending flow where basically it just kind of pops up where there's a new transaction. You get notified, say, here are the transaction details. Would you like to authorize it? I can put in my signature. And then obviously in this setup, it was he had two and I had one. So then he was free to then give it a secondary signature and then broadcast the transaction. Very, very similar to a traditional kind of multi-sig flow, as you would expect, but done on two different phones by two different people on two different sides of the world. Very impressed.
Very nice. Yeah, I've never used Nunchuk, but you've always spoken pretty positively about it.
Orange Surf, being the turbo nerd that he is, actually did some calculations afterwards as well to see what the fee savings were for us doing this multi-sig via Taproot. For a one-in, one-out transaction, the Taproot version was 59% cheaper than a traditional 2 or 3 SegWit multi-sig. If we used the script path spend, it would have been 34% cheaper as well.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
You saved yourself about half a penny then.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, it was just a test transaction, but if you extrapolate that out to like a 5 of 7 with 10 different UTXOs, then the savings quickly become very worthwhile.
No, I was being a cunt. And also the fees are very low at the moment. So,
yes, indeed.
When they go up, then it's worthwhile.
I'm thinking something like this would be absolutely ideal for the ungovernable treasury. I don't know what the setup is, and I don't want to know, and obviously we're not going to discuss it on air. But let's presume, right, your ungovernable has a treasury. You would kind of coordinate the wallet on your phone. You give Crown a key. You give Jordan a key, John a key, and me a key. Let's say there's 5 of us. We would all just have essentially a hot wallet on our phone, which sounds risky, but it could be a 3 or 5 multi-sig where we're all over the world.
Yeah.
You can coordinate spends for specific stuff if you need to restock the store or pay for a VPS or something like that. You benefit from that multi-sig infrastructure, but you can coordinate and chat within the app and send transactions in a matter of minutes. It's very cool, and I think it's going to open up quite a lot of use cases. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I have to have a play.
Speaking of our pal Orange Surf, he has released a new interactive block visualization tool that he's called Grid. So if you want to try it out, just go to grid.orange.surf. This grid, it looks a little bit like the kind of block template that you would see on mempool.space, but he has it forming 4 different functions. The main 2 I want to talk about is you can look at the median fee for the last 90 blocks, and it's just a kind of quick, simple color chart where if it was a low fee, the block is green. If it was a medium fee, which currently is between 5 and 15 sats, it goes orange. And then if it's above that, it goes red. You can just quickly see the fee makeup of the recent blocks, very visual way. The other, and in my opinion, more interesting use case is that you can see who's mined a block, which I know you can see on mempool.space anyway. But what you can do is that you can group all of the different miners into different groups. So as I'm sure you and John have probably talked about on the mining show, Antpool has lots of friends who are also essentially Antpool.
The Antpool family.
Yeah, the Antpool family. You look at mempool.space/mining and see, Antpool's only got 25% of the hash rate. The reality is they produce well over 30% of the block templates because they've got loads of shadow pools. So they actually have more hash rate or more influence on the block template construction of more blocks that makes sense. So Orange Surf's tool allows you to group known miners into, groups. So you can have like Antpool and friends where you could cluster BTC.com, Binance Pool, Luxor, and whoever else into one and give them one color so that when any of those mine a block, you get a more true distribution of like who's actually constructing the block templates in the last 90 blocks. Pretty cool.
Very nice. I love it when a turbo nerd calls another turbo nerd a turbo nerd. It's like, you to me are like one of the biggest nerds I've ever met in my life. It's just astounding. And then you're like, Orange Surf's such a turbo nerd.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this shit.
I would put myself on the first step of turbo nerd, and then the likes of Orange Surf and Coffee are a few rungs above me.
Yes. Do you want to know the biggest nerd ever? Is actually John.
Really?
Yeah, but a different type of nerd. So it's normally with like singing and performances and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've never met someone who his brain just goes to a way to like make some music out of something with whatever you're talking about. He's always there just like tapping away and writing little notes, and that could be a song, that could be a performance. Like the Antpool family. Do you ever listen to his Antpool family one?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
He is a talented guy, isn't he?
Yeah, what a guy.
This is a perfect segue, actually, and this wasn't planned. But speaking of turbo nerd stuff, even I'm not high enough up the ladder to understand why the fuck you would want to do this. But you can now run Linux, specifically certain flavors of Linux. I think it's just Ubuntu and Debian and stuff like that at the moment, on your GrapheneOS phone.
Oh, yeah, on Graphene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works really well. I've been using it for a while.
I get that the concept of this is cool, but I've been asking for days on Nostr, why? And everybody just keeps going, oh, because it's cool. I'm like, like, give me an actual use case why I'd want to, on my tiny little phone screen, spin up a virtual machine that's running Debian or Linux of some flavor, then plug that or cast that to my computer screen and then deal with the lower powered phone in a Linux environment. I'm just like, why? Nobody's been able to give me a concrete answer yet that isn't just, I'm a nerd. Can you think of anything?
No, I think the answer is because it's just made for nerds. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a fucking turbo nerd.
Yeah. And then, in fact, I've had one recent reply that said, some people don't own a computer, almost everyone owns a phone.
Okay.
But that catchment of people that have a smartphone that run GrapheneOS, are they likely to not have a computer?
No, they're not.
Correct.
It's an extremely small percentage of the planet who would run Graphene, and most of those are proper techie privacy types, and almost all of them are going to be running a laptop or their own servers and all that kind of stuff as well. But I kind of get the point, is that it opens up the door potentially for people who don't have access to own a computer to do some of the things that they want with Linux. Maybe that could open the door for more devs to do more stuff, because a lot of the world doesn't have access or doesn't have a laptop or a computer or a server. They do just have a phone. So I guess maybe in theory.
Yeah, possibly. Like one of the guys I interact with on Nostr, he actually doesn't have a username, so I don't know what to call him, but showed a photo of Sparrow Terminal through Linux on his Graphene Pixel. And I'm just like, why? Why? What are you going to do with that? Like, I love Sparrow. I love Graphene.
Well, he's going to take a photo.
But, like, why?
Yeah.
And then he did another one with, the, like, ASCII art, the Ronin thing, like the old school Ronin UI, basically.
Yeah.
Like, a picture of that as well. And I'm just like, no. Nope.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
maybe I'm being naive. I'm happy to be proven wrong if somebody's able to give me a valid use case as to why the fuck I would want to do this. But I'm yet to see it.
We'll see. Someone will prove us wrong.
Indeed. Moving on. SimpleX Chat version 6.3 has been released. They have now got spam prevention in public chats. Group improvements, you can now mention other members, and it's also got improved performance, improved chat navigation, new organization of chats into lists, improvements to privacy and security, including chat retention periods and private media file names. Nice. Expatriotic shoved this one under my nose last night, so I'm going to be open and honest and say that I don't fully understand how this works, but NYM VPN has been released and is now available. It claims to be one of the most private VPNs on the planet, and is built in such a way that they can't log. However, when I was going through the how it works thing very briefly last night, I saw mention of basically people can run nodes in the network. It seems to operate a little bit similar to the way in which
Obscura.
Yeah, or Tor. They seem to have two modes. There's one which is a traditional VPN, which is kind of like one hop, or they have like a more private mode where there's multi-hops where NYM themselves don't run any of those servers where you hop through, which is why they're saying that they can't log it, because they're not part of that hop, which I get. But they
Okay.
clearly have business relationships with people who are running those hops or those servers that your traffic is being hopped through. And in their own blog, it says that they have those people sign no logging agreements. So it's not that those people can't log, it's that they sign an agreement to say that they won't log. Now, yes, there is a separation that those people are not NIM, allegedly, but it's not that you can't be logged. It's that we promise, well, NIM, the company, can't do it because they get somebody else to run the servers, but those people could, in theory, log your traffic. Multiple hops means that if one of those servers is logging, they're still not going to gain much, but there's nothing to prevent them doing that. But the nature of the multiple hops, just like Tor, means that one malicious node in that kind of path can't really do a great deal. So I'm sure this is still a marked improvement, but it's new and I'm kind of a little bit wary of it based on some of the stuff that I've read. Again,
Okay.
I had a quick 10-minute read over their docs last night. So if anybody's closer to this than me and I've got any of that wrong, please do comment and tell me I'm an idiot.
Yeah, please do.
LNSIM has now expanded to cover all of Europe. So lnvpn.net seems to be similar to silent.link, but they now offer an eSIM service that covers all of Europe where you can buy different plans with different data allowances for different amounts, or with no KYC, no email, no account, and all with instant delivery over the Lightning Network. And these plans range from 1 gigabyte for 7 days for $2, pretty reasonable if you ask me, all the way up to 100 gigabytes for 30 days for $89. So you can kind of mix and match and get it to how you see fit. So
that's pretty
cool.
nice.
Yeah. Nice one to have on the roster to be able to use. That's lnvpn.net if you want to check that out.
Very nice.
The last one on the list that I wanted to showcase people or signpost people to is a post from Darthcoin, a resident Lightning privacy guru. He's done a post on Stacker News, which again will be linked in the show notes, that covers underrated privacy tools on the Lightning Network. Won't go through them all because it's quite an extensive post, but he covers off wrapped invoices, LN proxy, which I know we've talked about on the show before, zero conf channels, just-in-time channels, trusted channels, Zap Locker, Lightning Box, and Dunder LSP channels as well. So if you are a turbo nerd and you want to be private on the Lightning Network like me, well worth a read. Yeah, it's a good post.
Very nice. No questions this time, which is disappointing to see people, although we did have some.
We did have some in the boosts, in fairness. Yeah. Okay, that was fun, and nice to be back on the normal schedule. Thanks to everybody that streamed, boosted, and asked questions. More of that, please. We appreciate you all.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for all the support, everyone, and we will catch you on the next one.